Yes, you read that right. I am mad enough to take on the task of recreating Oakwood theme park 1-to-1 in Planet Coaster 2. Did it take way too long? Absolutely it did, and has it left everlasting side effects on my mental health? Only time will tell. But here we are, where it all began, out on the main road at the park entrance. Now, why did I decide to do this? Well, in case you don't know, earlier this year, Oakwood decided to close its gate permanently, forever, without any notice at all, really, which is a real shame for those that visited regularly. And I believe this park held a special place in a lot of people's hearts. So I thought, what better way to commemorate the closing of the park than to recreate it in the game so people can visit virtually forevermore. Isn't that sweet? Anyway, let's open the gates again, shall we? Bosh, bosh, magic. Now, fun fact, I have never been to Oakwood Theme Park, despite living only down the road from it. So I had to rely on Google Maps, Google Street View, and a lot of YouTube videos. So thanks to anybody who uploaded any Oakwood-related content, because without a doubt I have watched it and utilised it in order to recreate this park as best I can. And I'm going to say that now because there's stuff that just doesn't exist in Planet Coaster, stuff that just wasn't practical to do. So is it perfect? No, it's not. But is it the best that I could do? I think so. And it's not to say that I won't keep coming back to fix little things here and there. I always welcome your feedback, so just let me know. Let me know what you think of the park as we explore it today. But here we are at the main entrance, or the old main entrance, I should say. They relocated the main entrance down there, which we'll see shortly. And in the process, removed the train station, which was a bit sad. I think they changed how the train worked, really, but I'm not 100%. But it's such an iconic viewpoint when you come into the park through the car park, which is tiny, by the way. This is the real size of the car park. Absolutely minuscule. I think there was overflow over there. But anyway, I digress. Here we are. This is the new main entrance and the train station. And with that, I will say the way that I'm kind of framing this recreation is as if we have purchased the park and it's been closed for a year and we've been renovating it and making it new again, because I think it excuses a lot of those little discrepancies here and there. We're saying this is the grand reopening. We've tidied everything up. Some things might be gone. Some things might be added. Who knows? We'll find out. But here we are at the new main entrance. It's very understated. It's very British. It's what you kind of expect. So without further ado, let's head on in, shall we? So off to our left here, we'll check out at the end of the tour is the backstage areas. The backstage service road does pretty much surround the entire park. It's a really good backstage service area. That also connects back up to the roundabout we were just at by the car parks, but I'll show you all of that at the end. But first, one of the most iconic rides at Oakwood, Drenched, which I'm really, really happy with because it's all custom supported by myself, and it took a flipping long time. Not only the supports, but the track itself, or at least underneath the track, is all custom, and it took me an insane amount of time, but I'm really happy with how it looks. Pretty true to life. Drenched was closed for quite a few years, I believe, before the park even closed, which is unfortunate because it does look like a fantastic ride. But let's head on round. This is a new sign that I designed for it. I thought we'd spruce it up for the reopening. We've got ride photos here, complete with prices. Get yourself a keyring if you like. Go nuts. These are some custom bins that I made. You will see them all across the park, and they are available on my workshop. This queue is pretty accurate as far as I can tell. Very long queue. Nice little cattle pen over here before you move into the actual main queue over there for extra overflow, which I can imagine in its heyday the queue would have been quite long, especially on a nice hot day. But without further ado, here we are. This is Drenched. Let's jump on, shall we? Well, wasn't that glorious and a little bit damp. This was a key part of the ride. If you didn't want to actually ride the ride itself, you could just pop up here onto the bridge and get a really good view of the coaster and get yourself drenched. So everyone's part of the ride. Isn't that adorable? Let's watch this come down here, shall we? Lovely. Okay, up there is the Oak Tree restaurant and gift shop. We will come back to that at the end because that is where the exit train station is to get back to the car park, so that'll tie us back around nicely. So what we'll do now is we'll head down to Spooky Street, and it's a good time to actually mention the very complex terrain undulation of this park. My goodness, was probably one of the biggest headaches when recreating this, because the park is, much like many parks, kind of set in a valley, so it's kind of critical to the sightlines of the park. So to get all these smooth transitions from one level to another was a bit of a headache, I'm going to be honest, but worth it. And I even put in details like here, the little gutters for the rain that flows down here. So to my left, we've got what is a seasonal build, normally used for scare mazes during the Halloween season. So this, I believe, last was used for a witch hunt, so that's why I went with there. We've got some toilets, little staff only bit, or witches only. And in the middle here, if you can't work out what this is, I don't blame you. These are sunken trampolines, so kiddies can have a little bit of fun there. And this is primarily a kiddie family area of the park, even though it's a spooky section. I don't know, it's a bit weird, but there we go, it works. And this here is Creepy Crawler, which the coaster itself was built by Jan, who is a fantastic builder and content creator, so make sure to check him out. I'll leave a link to him in the description. Let's head on in, shall we? When I was building this, it was before we had all of the glorious path settings that let us remove curbs and stuff like that, so this was a bloody nightmare to start with, so I had to come back and tidy it all up afterwards. This is custom media for the wallpaper. Definitely worth it to get that to match the real coaster queue. And then we move into this very basic shed, which is true to life, and then up into another very basic shed to house the coaster station. So without further ado, this is Creepy Crawler. Looks like we've got ourselves the Caterpillar, I want to say. Not sure what it is, but it's a beautiful car created by Jan. But let's jump on, shall we?
Label.
That was a Creepy Crawler. Fantastic recreation by Jan there. Make sure to go back and check the actual episode where I talked to Jan about his process. Really interesting. Lovely view from the courtyard down here. This was a little spooky teacups ride. It's now the Tiny Eye because the teacups in the game is bloody enormous. Over here we've got the Haunt Pizzeria, which, as you can imagine, is a pizzeria. This interior I just entirely made up, to be honest, but it looks real. I still positioned the windows where I could see that they were from the exterior, but I could only find one picture on the whole of the internet of the interior, and it was just of a menu, so not much I could do with that, but I'm happy with how it looks, especially with the new interior lighting system that we've got in Planet Coaster 2. Really, really happy with this area. I'd probably go as far as to say this is my favourite area of the park. It just looks really great and just looks real. And I'm not really one to toot my own horn, but I think this just looks really well integrated and just true to life. So I'm really happy with this. And that means it's only down from here. So that's something to look forward to, isn't it? Over here, we have Oakwood Manor, which is a new attraction to the park because, much like everything else in Oakwood, the previous dark ride had been shut down. So in 2023, it was just boarded up. Nothing there at all. So I had to go nuts and create something new. So I did. It's not my best work by any means, but I created this very early on after Planet Coaster 2's release. So we didn't have much in the game, so I might come back and revamp this now that we've got the Sorcery Pack. But I'm pretty happy with what it is. It gets the job done. Here's the entrance, little backstage area there. These fire exits do link up to... I can't go through. Let's see if I can go through any... You shouldn't be around here. Unbelievable. Can I go through any of these doors? No, I can't. That's okay. But they do link up to genuine fire exits that you'll see as you go around the ride. Here we are in the station. The Lady of the Manor welcomes you. There's our little ride-up area. I might add some CCTV to these screens. But for now, here is Oakwood Manor. And there it is. Again, I'm really happy with the facade for this one. I did individual planks to create the wall, means you can inset the windows really nicely, and it just kind of, it looks real. And that's all I ever aim for. I am a realist. I love building things true to life in the game. We're gonna come back to this later on because that is our main attraction, an addition to the park since last time. So we'll leave that one for a big finale, where I'm going to be joined by a special guest. Back up the hill, we've got the oak tree to our left. Like I said, we'll come back to that at the end, exit through the gift shop and all that. Which brings us round to Neverland, another kiddie area of the park. We've got some backstage to the right. That takes you through to the back of the log flume, spoiler alert, and that is the back of the arcades and the workshop for the mechanics. Cute little shop here. We've got some coffee and gelato, and I was quite happy that I got this to work. This is traversable, this grass area with the picnic benches. Guests will come onto this and use that. I remember that being quite a headache when I did it at the time, again before we had the luxury of all the new path features. I think the general vibe of this area was London themed, this section at least, before you go into Neverland, to tie into the whole Peter Pan thing, because they start in London, don't they, before they go to Neverland. So over there is just a London street facade which hides the show building for the log flume and play area, the soft play. Behind me here was a London taxi style track ride. We just don't have the same type of track ride in the game, and there is also another one over there anyway. So that has been removed in our renovation. I'm so sorry. So as I said, down here is a soft play. Obviously not possible to recreate in the game, so that's all cordoned off for now. And here is Skull Rock, which has the iconic facade on the drop of the skull, which again was quite a headache to do, but I'm pretty happy with it. I kind of wanted to go for the fiberglass skull effect, and I think it comes across okay. Here we go, little staff route down there for maintenance, but we are simply guests. And here we are in the station. So without further ado, here is Skull Rock, Park's log flume. There's a few additions to that since the episode where I built it, since we got the pirate pack, obviously. So I managed to get a few more things in there, like an actual cannon, instead of making it myself, and the key pirate, as you come around the last bend before the lift hill. So nice little additions to really tie it together. As well as this mast, which was very convenient because this is true to the park. There is a mast here in the middle of the plaza. So really happy when I managed to get that in when we got that pack back in the game. Behind me here is a Neverland Chase, a little vintage car ride. I won't bore you with the ride itself, but here is the viewing platform. It's just a tiny little circle, basically. I used to love these rides. As a kid and even older, I'll be honest. But they do have their own number plates, which is true to life as well. So they're all unique cars. But there we go. These are custom skinned vintage cars using planks and straw and all sorts. Not perfect, but I was quite happy with how they came out in the end. Over here we have Tink's Flying School. The ride type isn't identical, but it's close enough. It's a spinning ride for kids, basically. This is probably a bit too intense for what it should be. And there should also be a Tinkerbell statue in the middle, but I am not very good at making the wonderful art shape creations that a lot of you guys are. So if anybody wants to make it, do reach out, let me know, and I'll stick it in. Nice little viewing area here for the log flume. If you want to get a bit wet, who doesn't? And tucked away in the corner here, this in real life was called Crocodile Coaster, I believe, or Croc Coaster. We don't have a crocodile coaster in the game, as you know, so it is now called Dragon Coaster. Just a little bit of a reskin, basically, but track layout is exactly the same. It's a really, really simple kiddie coaster. I mean, when you see the train itself, it looks like it's just made out of cardboard, to be honest. It's the most simple coaster you could possibly imagine, and was quite difficult to get to work. I had to put a little bit of a drive tyre there just to even get it back up again, because there's just no room to to get speed on it. So again, I won't bore you with that coaster. You can imagine the adrenaline that would be flowing through your veins. Here's a little glimpse. This is part of our Backstage service road network, which we'll check out at the end. That's how that connects here. I should put some no entry signage there. Duly noted. As you exit over here, I was quite happy with this little cottage. I think this was called Wendy's Cottage or something. I believe it was used for face painting or something like that, but just happy that I managed to get that build in. Heading out of Neverland now, if we go around here, there's a little path here that I only discovered right at the end of this build. I didn't even realise this was here for a long time. In here was just a little arcade. So once again, hopefully at some point, we've been asking for years now in both versions of the game to get some kind of midway attractions or arcades, amusements. So if we ever do get that, I will shove those in there. But for now it is closed, but the facade is pretty accurate. And a little seating area here in front of it, which takes us down to our big open area. And this is a beautiful part of the park. Nice view down to Megaphobia in the distance, the lake. There's a little stage there used for performances. And then partway down you've got Woody's, which is a cute little burger bar. Again, happy I managed to recreate the sign quite accurately. Really happy with that. I will point out my little drain covers, because those are the kind of details that I just love doing. Things like that and the bins, I think, just tie everything together. This ride here is not accurate at all, but the ride that is there isn't in the game at the moment. So once again, if that does get added, I will swap that out. But this is something that is here, and I have recreated. This is Waterfall, a simple water slide that seems so popular that nobody wants to go on it. Which brings us round to Speed No Limits, which was created by the wonderful nerd Chacho, of course. I had to get him to build a coaster in the park. It wasn't even debatable. And this is another area I'm really happy with, because it was a lot of work to get everything right and scaled correctly, but the work was worth it because it feels great. It feels like it should. Little elements like this are a key sightline in this area, and they just come together so nicely. Speed No Limits is of course a Eurofighter, pretty standard layout I believe, but nonetheless Chacho did a fantastic job. And let's hop on this thing. There we go, that was Speed No Limits. You can come down here under the track and grab your photos from here. Look at that. Can you see yourself? Don't you look great? You'll notice in the couple of places that the park does have water attractions, I've had to sneak in some changing rooms, whereas normally these would be ridden in your normal clothes. Obviously the game won't allow that, so I had to sneak them in somewhere, but I've managed to do it quite subtly wherever I need to, so they can get changed into their silly swimming costumes just to go on a water slide and then get changed again, but there we go. Heading around here, sunken deep into the woods, is Treetops, which is a Zero Tivoli coaster. This has all had a bit of a tidy up. I say that because it all looks far too clean and tidy compared to what I imagine the queue did before it closed. So this has had a revamp. We've got our photo booth down here for Treetops, looking great. This coaster I built myself. I know. I'm proud of myself too. And there it is. I used Taggy's wonderful trick with the sunken bushes using the scenery brush to create that kind of overgrown grass effect. Would be lovely if we just had long grass as a terrain paint like they do in Planet Zoo, but we do not, so this is a good alternative, although high piece count. But it does sell it really nicely. It does feel proper sunken into the foliage. But anyway, let's hop on this thing. Heading down here, we come to Bounce, which again was closed, I believe, prior to the park's closure. But this is obviously a drop tower with some scenery here. I have been since informed that this bunker here was used for the mechanism for the drop tower, hidden away over there. But it adds to the scenery nonetheless. Created a custom sign for it and everything. Looks pretty good. And as we get to the bottom of the hill, we get to our first new attraction since the last episode. This is Snake River Falls, I believe it's called. Already forgotten. So good at my job. This is a set of 4 water slides that, again, obviously need their own changing rooms. That's over there. I was really worried about this one because there's such a tangled mess of slides, and to try and discern what's going where from aerial photos and just casual POVs of people walking past, it's a bit of a nightmare, but I'm pretty certain this is quite accurate, and happy with how that looks. We've got the green felt down here. Let's hop on one, shall we? So on the left we've got Cobra, on the right we have got Python, and I don't know the names of these two in the middle because there's not signs on them, so I just called them Snake River Falls 1 and 2. Let's go for Python, shall we? And then tucked right in the corner, simply because I'm really bad at planning apparently and couldn't fit it in properly, is the pirate ship, which I believe is just called Pirate Ship. So I don't think there's any love lost there, but it is what it is. It's a pirate ship. It should be slightly sunken down and slightly more over there. But yeah, the end of the park is there, unfortunately, because this park, while small in kind of content and attractions, is spread over a very, very large space of land, especially when you include the car park and the entrance road. So hence why it was a bit of a cram in the end. But the fact is we got the ride in, and that's what is important. Which moves us on to the main attraction of the park, the wooden coaster Megaphobia, which sits on the beautiful lake here. Custom bridge. There is a little pedalo ride here, so you can jump on a little pedalo and pedal around the lake. But again, don't have that in the game just yet. Could have had it as a aesthetic only, but I thought I'd just leave it for now. But we do have this lovely little path across the middle of the lake with a beautiful shot of Megaphobia here. How good does that look? Including the new retrack which was custom built by our special guest today, and I'm pretty sure I've seen him around somewhere. Corvus?
Hello.
Hi there. Fancy seeing you here.
You found me staring at this beautiful view.
I did. I mean, I knew I'd find you here. It's just so stunning, isn't it?
Yeah, it just the way with all the foliage around it, it looks exactly how I wanted it to. I'm so happy with it, how it's turned out.
Excuse me, I'm trying to admire the view here. So rude. You know, we're VIPs. But yes, here we are on the lovely little waterway in front of Megaphobia, which you created. Thank you very much for doing so.
I did, yeah. It's pretty surreal seeing it like this because I've never been to Oakwood. I had the opportunity to quite a few years ago, but didn't because of how expensive the tickets were. But yeah, it's nice to at least now be virtually here and see Megaphobia in its spot, surrounded by all that lush foliage. It looks amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, you actually created the coaster quite a long time ago now. It must have been
I did, yeah.
a few months ago. But I'm so disorganised that it's now finally in the park, and it is great to see it in situ. So, you created the coaster, but I brought on the wildly talented Ginge to actually integrate it with a queue and station and transfer and signage. And my goodness, has he done a fantastic job as well. It was an absolute nightmare to do, I know, for him, because I gave it to him because it was such a nightmare, to try and get any content at all of the queue line or the layout of all of it, because the queue is quite complex. It winds in and out of the coaster under the lift hill and all sorts, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the layout I found equally as complicated. It was such a complicated layout that John Wardley has designed, but yeah, replicating that was very difficult just from looking at, as I assume this creator did, to find like the layouts of the queue just using Google Maps and Google Earth. It's the actual existing information about this area of the park is so sparse.
It really is. I tried finding so many different kind of walk-through POVs of people going through the queue line, but it's all kind of just pointing directly at their face and really unhelpful. But you do get little glimpses like this. I'm really glad he picked up on this. There's a little bit of padding because you do pass quite close under the lift hill, so that he's put that on their little padding wrap, so you don't bump your head. But just going back here a little bit, you obviously asked me straight away, are we doing the refurb that happened a few years ago? And my goodness, have you succeeded in doing the refurb?
Yeah, I thought I'd make the most up-to-date version of it. The original coaster opened in 1966, so it wasn't really that old, but it was built by CCI, who are notoriously like a rough coaster manufacturer. So I think it was the end of the 2022 season, it opened in 2023. Gravity Group came in and retracked about 40% of it, mainly the most the most high stress areas, and in doing that they increased the angle of the drop so that it's a bit steeper, added, as you can see just above your head there, double up airtime hills instead of just one consistent airtime hill. They've done that in quite a few places, and it just makes it ride a lot more exciting and like a more modern wooden coaster. So it was really cool getting to do that sort of mismatch of the two different coasters. So yeah, it was really interesting.
It's quite a unique thing that you don't normally really think about when you're designing a coaster for Planet Coaster, to add that extra bit of detail and go back and swap bits out. It adds a whole new element to it that just looks really realistic to me.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the way that it's come out, especially that different coloured track as well. It really adds to it.
It does, and we'll see it as you go around on the POV as well. All the different elements have been swapped out. But yes, queue line looks fantastic here again by Ginge, making our way up. Look at the coaster train.
Yeah, I was quite happy with the little stick-on pieces on the front for the logo.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's been replicated around in various places for signage purposes as well. So it all just looks great, and I'm so happy with it. Here's the station. We've got storage lockers over there, of course, and another bit of signage on the control booth as well, which really just ties everything together.
All the custom railings and the beam work in the roof really look fantastic. Very realistic.
It is. It's great. And before we do jump on, I just want to head over to the transfer here. Have a look at this.
Oh, I love all the little details everywhere.
Look at the little weights, the water weights. It's so cute. And Ginger's tools, trademark Ginger tools.
Oh, I
He
love
makes
that.
all sorts of little elements with his name on that you'll see around the rest of the park. But how good does his transfer look?
Again, finding information on this from like real life photos was near enough impossible, so I just sort of modelled it after what most other CCI transfer tracks look like. So I'm hoping it's mostly accurate, but those little details that have been added look fantastic.
Yeah, it just all ties. Like both of you, like considering you don't really know each other or work together, both elements have come together so perfectly. It's just kind of it's flawless, really. But yes, there we go. That is the transfer. That is the coaster. Thank you very much to Corvus and Ginge for putting this together. And I think now is a good time to jump on this thing. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, there we have it. I mean, what a fantastic recreation of such an iconic ride by Corvus there. We'll let Corvus get on with his day. Here's the exit queue, once again created by Ginge. Such a good job here, because, I mean, I worked quite a while trying to research the queue and exit of Megaphobia, and it got so stressful that I just said, Ginge, can you just do it for me? And thankfully, he came back and said the same thing. It was a nightmare to try and find good content of the layout, so it might not be perfect, but it's certainly what it needs to be, and it just ties everything so wonderfully together with Corvus's fantastic coaster. Really sells it, and I'm so happy with it. Here's a little basic gift shop. Like everything else in the park that should be open is closed. Definitely not down to my own laziness in the slightest. I just find it funny that when you do look at all these POVs of British parks especially, and they're walking around and so much is just closed, shutter down, and I did want to honour that in a way. But there we go. That is the main bulk of the park. What we're going to do now is take a look at the rest of Ginger's fantastic work by taking a little wander backstage. And so in the centre of the park we have the main service area that Ginger's done here for us. I'd only placed down the generators and the water pumps just so I can get everything connected up. Yes, I did the power and the water and the staffing. Don't know why I bothered, but I did, so it all works, at least for now anyway. And then Ginge came in and tidied it all up, added these lovely containers, the staff buildings. If we have a little peek in here, there's full desks with the monitors, sofas, look at these, little filing cabinets. This is one of the mechanics' workshops in there. So there's someone stationed here, she's here permanently to service all of these generators to make sure everything remains powered. Obviously labeling everything because I am pedantic. And so then this main center service area connects to everywhere else in the park. So if we head around here, we've got another train crossing here. And this takes us into Neverland. So we go around the back of Tink's Flying School and the log flume over there. But if we divert this way, it's a nice handy shortcut around to Speed. And it's something that I do like paying attention to in theme parks, is what can feel like taking ages to get from A to B as a guest in a theme park. Just behind, you've got these service roads that connect everything instantly. So it's weird how, for a staff member, two areas of the park can seem quite connected, but to a guest, it's the opposite. Might just be me, but just a little observation there. But anyway, here's the back of Speed. And this takes us around to a little workshop where I imagine they'd have a lot of the stuff for the log flume. And this is the show building for the log flume. You would have seen that as we came round. And around the back here, some fire exits. Now if we head over to the other side of the park, that's the main entrance over there. We can come around the back of Drenched. And we've got a little service area here where we've got our generators and water pumps for that. That's the little gate from the queue that we saw earlier. And then round here we've got another service area. The work Ginger's done here is just brilliant with the the spare bins. And if we head in here, my goodness, look at all this. That is a MIG welder. He made that piece by piece. More Ginge tools there with a little toolbox. We've got a vise there, a workbench. I did ask Ginge, and I believe most of his stuff is on the workshop, so make sure to go and check that out. But look at that. New upstops, road wheels, guide wheels. That is a next level attention to detail. Next door, a little garage by the looks of things with a little car lift. That looks like the thing used to remove an engine. More workbenches and toolboxes. Love it, love it, love it. And then if we follow this down here, this will take us around the back of Creepy Crawler in Spooky Street. So this would be our service access for moving trains and maintaining that coaster. And then finally, another service road that takes us around the back of Megaphobia. So it just ties back again to what I said. Really brilliant when you kind of see a park from this perspective and see how everything is connected in a different way to what you're used to. Just admiring more of this this retracking by Corvus here. Absolutely incredible work. And last but not least, we will make our way up to Oak Tree, as I said earlier, which is our restaurant in the middle. Was rather happy with this. So, little eatery here. And if we go through here, we've got the gift shop, which again, super happy with this. Put a lot of work into the dropped ceiling with the tiles, the fire alarms, the speakers. Feels very real to me. I'm very happy with that. And as the sign says over there, train is this way. So the last thing we'll do today is hop on the train when it comes around, which takes us back to the main car park. And here it comes. Now in real life this is a diesel engine train, but we don't have that in the game. I did try to reskin it, but it just didn't feel right, so I decided on extending our renovation to going old school with a steam train. And I think it fits the park lovely. So here we are alongside the park entrance now. The coaches where the guests spawn from, taking us back to the main car park. And there we have it. That is Oakwood theme park complete. I can't believe I'm saying that. I do genuinely apologise for how long this took. I think it's coming up to a year now since I actually started this project, which is mad considering the size of it. It looks a lot smaller when you look from above, but my goodness, the attention to detail that I put into each area to make sure it was as accurate as I could is what really sucked the life out of me by the end. Proper burnout hit. But I'm so glad that it's finished now. I'm so thankful to the people that helped me. So we had Jan on Spooky Street, Nerdchacho with Speed, Corvus, of course, doing Megaphobia, and Ginge, who did such a fantastic job with the Megaphobia station transfer queue, as well as all of the backstage details, workshops, etc. Thank you to all of you that watched the series and stuck with me and exercised great patience, and especially those of you that left feedback in the comments, because I did listen to it, I did implement it, and it is really appreciated. The park will, of course, be available on my workshop. I'll leave the code to that in the description, along with everything else that I referenced in this video. There's, of course, more Planet Coaster 2 content coming up on the channel, as well as more variety stuff as well. And I do urge you to watch that stuff, because YouTube certainly doesn't push it. I promise it's got the same charm that you're used to with these videos, just me playing other games. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye.